Ini sungguh menakjubkan. Tidak perlu mewarnai rambut lagi, hanya dengan memakan 1 pil setiap malam selepas makan, dalam masa seminggu, rambut Anda akan bertukar dari putih ke hitam. Produk ajaib ini boleh menyebabkan rambut putih Anda bertukar hitam dari akar dan tidak akan luntur. Hanya 1 pil sahaja boleh mengubah masalah rambut putih Anda secara kekal, asalkan Anda makan setiap hari dalam seminggu. Rambut Anda akan perlahan-lahan bertukar hitam. Ini adalah peristiwa generasi baru yang luar biasa. Tekan pautan untuk membeli produk ini sekarang. Inilah pil ajaib yang menjadikan rambut hitam berkesan dalam masa seminggu.
So the hawthorn's been used for many ailments throughout history, and it's most commonly used for strengthening and healing the heart. That's where hawthorn berry's power lies. The hawthorn berry was first recorded in the world of herbalism, by the ancient Greek physician Dioscorides, and he said, "The hawthorn is effective for increasing the strength of heart contractions, increasing blood flow to the heart." So what's really interesting about that is that's the first recorded use of hawthorn being used to treat ailments to do with the heart. But all throughout history, the ancient Chinese, all around Europe, everyone for centuries has been using the berry, mainly the berry of the hawthorn, for this purpose. So the hawthorn berry has been known in traditional medicine as a treatment for things like heart failure. So then science had a look at it, and they done a study on more than 850 people, and this concluded that those who took hawthorn extract along with their heart failure medications experienced improved heart function and exercise tolerance. They also experienced less shortness of breath and fatigue. And then there was a massive study on more than 2,600 people with heart failure, and this suggested that supplementing with hawthorn berry may reduce the risk of sudden heart-related death. Isn't that incredible? After all of this time gone by, this knowledge being passed from generation to generation, and then these studies being done, proving that they had it right all along. Absolutely mind-blowing. How did they know? Nobody knows. But now the hawthorn berry, if you want to bring it into your life, of course, first thing you got to do is learn how to identify the tree. So let's learn how to identify the hawthorn tree. So firstly, you've got the hawthorn tree's bark. You can see it's almost a shade of grey, and the trunk kind of twists round out the ground, creating a tension within it. Then of course you've got these big thorns, giving it the name the hawthorn tree. You don't want to mess with these. Then you have the berries. These, when they're ready, are bright red, small and round. Now these bright red hawthorn berries look like little apples, and they're edible, but the seed inside isn't edible. When you squeeze them open, you'll see the seed inside. You can't eat the seed, but the flesh of the berry is edible. You can see it's kind of oily, and it actually tastes like a bland apple. Now the main way you can tell you've got a hawthorn tree is by its leaves. These leaves have 5 lobes. They're deeply lobed, and these lobes alternate in different directions. These are the main way we can tell we've got a hawthorn tree. So the humble hawthorn tree is pretty simple to identify, but just so you're confident and I'm confident, let's compare it to a tree that you don't want to accidentally mistake for the hawthorn tree, and that's the poisonous yew tree. Now the yew tree, if you look at its leaves, totally different to the hawthorn. The yew tree's leaves are like needles, the hawthorn leaves with the 5 lobes. And then when we look at the berries, when we compare the berries, on the left we have a hawthorn berry that looks like a little red ripe apple. berry. Now you can see the yew berry's red flesh doesn't completely encapsulate the seed. Now these are the comparisons. On the left we have hawthorn berry, on the right yew berry. It's pretty easy to tell the difference between a yew tree and a hawthorn tree, but it's definitely best to know and understand them basic trees, because the yew tree is deadly poisonous. It takes just 2 seeds of a yew tree to kill a horse and just 50 of the needle-like leaves from the yew tree to kill an adult. So let's talk about the edibility of the hawthorn. Now in early spring, when these little leaves start to appear, these are edible, and they're known to the older generation as bread and cheese because they kind of taste like a savoury snack. So in early spring you can eat the hawthorn leaves, and then of course when the berries appear in late summer and autumn, these are edible as long as you spit out the seed. They make a delicious snack. They taste kind of like a bland apple. And we really love them in our house because they've not got an amazing flavour compared to say a blackberry, but they're a really autumnal kind of flavour. They're really earthy. There's something special about them. It's probably our tickers telling us that they approve and put more of these little berries in the body, please. Now there's lots of recipes you can make with hawthorn berries, and there's lots of reasons why you should. For one, they're a powerhouse in polyphenols. These are an antioxidants that you can find in plants. And secondly, it's just a really good fun recipe to get out with your friends and family, and you can create it together. It's a bit of work, the hawthorn berry recipes. It's not as simple as a little boil. There's a bit of hand labour going on, but the end result is a much more unique recipe. Now, one of the most popular recipes of hawthorn is hawthorn ketchup. With a little bit of medium through a sieve, sugar, vinegar, you can create your own ketchup alternative. And this is rich in all them antioxidant properties, and it tastes surprisingly like ketchup. I'm a bit of a ketchup snob personally. I love ketchup. I have ketchup on nearly everything, and this gets the thumbs up from me. And secondly, what we'll show you how to make today is Stelly's new recipe, hawthorn honey. This is the hawthorn berry infused with actual honey, so it can last all throughout the year, and we can use it in teas or even a cheeky honey sandwich, and that brings all that good heart strengthening goodness into our body in a nice sweet treat kind of way. And then of course you've got the traditional hawthorn tea, where you simply dry out the berries. These are berries from last year. You simply dry these out and you can make yourself hawthorn tea for the rest of the year, and that's probably the most practical way of using hawthorn berries if you want to use them for their medicinal goodness. Now before we head home, Stelly shows us how to make some hawthorn honey, I thought I'd share some hawthorn folklore with you. It's been believed for a long time in folklore that cutting down a hawthorn tree is extremely bad luck. And do you know why? Because it's said that the fairies are the guardians of the hawthorn tree, and they actually live underneath hawthorn trees. And if you did cut one down, then they would seek revenge on you, and soon you would perish. So that literally means the fairies, if you cut down a hawthorn tree, will hunt you down and kill you. And that superstition still runs deep in society today, and many people probably don't even know why that their granddad said, oh, we're not cutting that hawthorn tree down. But now you say, why? And they say, oh, because it's unlucky. But that's where that folklore comes from, and that's why you'll find many hawthorn trees just like this one standing alone in the middle of fields still today. Now these fairies, although they're extremely protective over the hawthorn tree, it's completely fine if you want to come and collect some berries, leaves or blossoms from the hawthorn tree, as long as you're well mannered and polite. And it's said that if you happen to be a bride,